How does your team physically, mentally, and stamina-wise going into a 15th game? And can you imagine having to play one more to win a national championship?
Well, I think we're in as good a shape as you can be. I think the schedule has set up well for us to. We finished the season playing 10 in a row, and the last stretch of that was a challenge because this is obviously a physical game and it's mentally taxing and the balance of school and all those things mount up. But our guys did as good a job as they could handling that. We had the extra game with the championship game, but I thought we managed things well, getting ready for the bowl game. We were able to really get our team physically and mentally and emotionally kind of geared back up. And I think the timing of this has been excellent because it's almost like we got ready for the opener again because you had a little more time than you normally do. And this is kind of the next game from a prep standpoint. Had a couple extra days. But I think it's good as it can be. But it certainly is a long season, and our guys are ready to go.
Well, I think that as a coach, you certainly acknowledge the fact that your players are going into the 15th game of the season, and I think you have to respect that, in every way, and you try to get people not to focus on necessarily how they feel, but to make decisions about what they need to do to continue to play well. After coaching in the NFL where you play a 16-game season, if you get in the playoffs at 17, 18 games, whatever, I think that, you kind of try to get the players to focus on doing the things that they need to do to accomplish their goals and not focus so much on how they feel because I do think it's a long season for them. They are young players, but our guys have done a really good job of sort of using the rest time that they have, that when we are practicing and preparing, their focus has been good.
We're going to stay in the back center of the room.
Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman for Dabo. I was curious when you fell in love with acronyms and if Clemson fans send you any suggestions, and do you have a new one ready for tomorrow?
Well, I've got a few acronyms, but to me, that's just something I've done my whole life. When I was in school, that was just a way that I would learn, kind of helped me to bring life to what I was trying to learn at the time. And I love words. I think that there's power in certain words, and sometimes you can take a word like best, and what does that mean? And then I'll kind of bring it to life, and I'll define it for the team sometimes with an acronym, and that's it. But I don't have anything new for this one.
We're going to stay over to your left, coaches, in the second row.
Coach Swinney, Cecil Hurt from the Tuscaloosa News. You went through this as a player, at least certainly a comparable situation in which you were really more of an underdog against Miami than Clemson's a slight underdog, I guess, tomorrow. But what, in the build-up to that, when you were in New Orleans, anything you learned, anything that carries over to this preparation?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you just can't, that stuff really doesn't matter. I mean, it's truly how you play the game, and how you play the game is a direct reflection of how you prepare, how you think. That's really what matters. And that particular team that year, I think one of the things that I thought gave us an edge, we were, I think, about a 13 or 13 and a half point underdog going into that game. But that was the first year that we had the SEC championship. And I remember it vividly because Coach Stallings was not happy because, I guess we were 11-0 at the time. We played 11 games. And we got to go play this extra game called the SEC Championship that nobody else in the country had. And we're playing the Gators and Coach Spurrier and the Fun and Gun and all that. They were pretty good. And Miami's sitting at the house just hanging out. Number one team in the country and Heisman Trophy winner. But I really thought that game gave us a little bit of an edge because of how we had to get ready again. And then you win that game, and you are 12-0, and you just beat Florida. I thought it just kind of solidified that mentality of, you know what, let's get this done. And I thought our week of preparation in New Orleans was tremendous. And we just didn't get distracted by all the stuff this really doesn't pertain to how you play the game, you know. And we had a great plan. We executed the plan very well. And that's really what it comes down to. You know, all that. There was two great teams, and it's always about the same things. You know, it's turnovers, it's winning your individual matchups, it's big plays and special teams. I mean, these are the same thing tomorrow night. These are two great teams that have, you know, they weren't picked to be here. They earned their way here, and you know, it'll come down to those same things. Very small margin for error.
Again, get your hands up and we'll get as many questions as we can. We're going to go over to the far left for you guys coaches and about the third row on the aisle.
Pete Yakabelli, Associated Press. Dabo, is there any update on Shaq's status, and do you and he still plan to have him out there tomorrow?
Yeah, we expect him to play. Hopefully he'll be able to perform and play to the level that we all know he can. But, you know, if not, they're not going to. I don't think Coach Saban's going to cancel the game over there. We're going to have to keep playing, so we'll put the next guy in there. So that's just the way it is. But we expect him to play, and he looked good yesterday. But, you know, again, until you get out there and you're playing in a game of this magnitude with the intensity and physicality, you never know. But he's done everything that he needs to do to play the game.
Middle section to your right, Ivan.
Ivan Mazel, ESPN.com. Dabo, I don't know whether you hear from your college teammates under normal circumstances. Are you blocking their calls? What sort of reaction are you getting from them?
No, I hear from, that's, you know, to speak to what Cecil said a minute ago, you know, that's really the reason we won the national championship in '92. And you got to remember, it was a different Alabama than what it is with Coach Saban now. You know, it's been a long time since Alabama had won a national championship, been since the 70s when we won it in '92, so that was like an eternity for Alabama. And but our team had such a great, you know, respect and appreciation for one another. We had a great chemistry and leadership, and guys really loved one another. And the reason that we won the national championship in '92 is still alive and well today. And that's the relationships that we had as a team. I hear from all those guys all the time. Tons of those guys come up to Clemson games, and I've been at Clemson for 13 years, so you know I've got guys that bring their kids to camp. I mean, we're friends. These are deep relationships that go back, you know, to when you're 18, 19 years old, and that doesn't change just because everybody kind of goes their separate ways. But it's been special. It's been really fun. I've had a lot of fun. I've had some that, you know, been giving me a hard time, like little Mark McMillan, who lives out here in Arizona now. But I've heard from lots of people, and, you know, they all wish us well. And, you know, everybody is pulling for a great game, and so I appreciate their support.
We're going to go left side of the aisle, right in the back.
Dabo, back here. You said that Alabama has the standard that Coach Saban has set at Alabama. As a coach, can you talk about how difficult that is and knowing your history at Alabama to appreciate what he has done there?
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you know, Coach Saban and what he's done. I mean, he's one of the greatest coaches that's ever coached the game. I mean, regardless of what happens to Monday night, you can't argue that. He's already won 4 national championships. You know, this is the first one I've sniffed as a coach, and he's going for his 5th. I mean, it's incredible. And it's one thing, you know, people sometimes will say, well, anybody can go win at Alabama. Well, no, that's not the case. You know, you know, not everybody can coach a great team. Not everybody can coach a great player, and I think that he has a gift to be able to do that. But you know, you have to be able to recruit consistently at this level. And you got to be able to put a staff together and build that. And so you have to have a vision for what you want to do, articulate that vision, have your core values, and I think he's done a great job in instilling that at the University of Alabama, and the consistency is unprecedented. I mean, it's just incredible, especially in today's time. You know, when you're playing 13, 14, 15 games, it's just very difficult to do. So I have great respect for that. In fact, I've got 11 guys on my staff in different capacities that have won national championships. And I kind of, talked to them and got them all up in front of the team. And, you take a guy like Dan Brooks, for example. Dan Brooks has been coaching 42 years. And he's coached at Florida and Tennessee and North Carolina and Clemson. This guy's been at some great programs, and he's got one national championship. It's really hard to do. And if you look around, I don't know, maybe there's probably only 34, 35, maybe 36 programs that have ever won a national championship in the history of college football. So I think it's amazing what they've done, but that's why they're University of Alabama. And I have all the respect in the world for what they're doing. That's what we want to become as a program. We want to be a program that is competing at this level on a consistent basis. And I think to do that, you've got to be a top 10, top 15 type program year in and year out. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of with our program, because only us in Alabama have had 5 10-plus win seasons in a row. So that's the type of consistency that you have to have, and the culture that you have to establish in your program to have the opportunity. And so this is a culmination of 7 years of a lot of consistency. And, hopefully this won't be our first time. Hopefully we can be back. I don't know if we can make it 4 out of the next 7 years, but it won't be for a lack of effort.